Hmm. 99%. Look at that. It's all just about that 1%. That 1% sure is gonna be something. So this is my backup. I shall keep this around. Gotta start somewhere. Okay. Ba-dum-bum. Well, sometimes you get thrown a curveball. Then it's about the persistence, though. Persistence is key. And this is actually really cool, because one thing I've done in the past is to just take the vanilla game, give bash on spawn, and remove all the other skills, and see how far I can get. And I got to all the skill trees. I got into Horu, and then I couldn't drain the lava. But like, you could do the challenge on a seed, like using the randomizer DLL where the lava's just drained. But then I still never did the final escape. In a sense, from that challenge of the past, it's the only thing I never did. So really this resolves a different thread of challenge that I have yet left hanging. What a grand task to think about, though. Da-dum, ba-dum, 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 ba. Da-dum, ba-dum, dum, ba. Alright, I don't know where I put the map. I probably just never downloaded it. Alright. Dum bum ba dum ba dum ba da dum ba dum ba dum bum. So This is the final escape. Final trick to be done. I want to get from here. I can enter this door, no problem. All the way through. And I just have bash. There are 2 walls strictly in the way. So I'll have to see how those work. There's this wall which is maybe not strictly in the way, but still very in the way. Then there's the problem that I can't even get up to start the final escape. In accumulation, that's a lot of problems. So let's start at the start. Get up to activate the final escape. That would be a logical first step. To do that, I need something to bash off, such as a spider shot. There are spiders here, so I could start trying to bash something from here. Alright. Let me move my progress to a completely separate set of files, which are the science files. This is where I'll use all the tools I want in order to gain information. Such as my position, which is conveniently displayed. So, presume I start here. Then I would want to load in I don't know, yeah, the shot would come diagonally, then I would want to load in everything around it. And the shot maybe like here or something. Alright. So presume this. I am targeting minus 250, 490 on the map. And I'm originating from somewhere here. It's not too important where exactly. Would get my spider shot from up here. So I guess I could start by just using one of the lanterns as a relatively consistent origin. The closer I am, the less precise the angle gets. It's just about whether the timing lines up then. So let's presume I start somewhere there. No slime given. Ravine of Death. Let's turn this into the Ravine of Warp Shots. Started late, so we have an excuse to stop after an hour. Actually, which is really cool, got a surprise invitation to a birthday party today. I was like, just, hey, do you want to come right now? So yeah, a bit later today. Sometimes things happen. That's not gonna work. Hold on. Alright, carefully pace these so that I get up. And then I'll definitely want a save up there. Anytime you get an invitation like that, you're never sober enough after to do anything. Well, I don't drink, so I don't have that problem. I don't think the party was short-term, just my invitation was. That's kind of sad. Got invited to a wedding a week or two before the date. That doesn't sound like too crazy strange to me, but maybe I'm weird. Ooh, look! A spider! One of the most powerful beings of this universe. Hi, Epic! Welcome, Epic! Welcome, SG! Welcome, Spines, by the way. Most people don't plan weddings a few weeks ahead. What do I have to do? So, I'm on 99% file completion. The only thing missing is the final escape. I only have Bash though, and the Plandomizer changed some rules for this final trick. It allowed warp shots, which means I am now allowed to have projectiles travel through out-of-bounds areas. So my first objective will be to have a spider shot in this room. That seems like a necessary first step in order for anything to happen here. Warp shots are notoriously time intensive to develop, so like, this is just the surface. This is just the start of it all. Like, if Tuan said it took him 2 weeks to develop it, I assume that it's 2 weeks of working on it actively. How many backup saves did I make? Why would I make multiple backup saves? What would I need multiple backup saves for? Anyway, so let's say I start from this lantern or something. Or I don't know, this lantern, sure. That would be minus 46491. We need 20, just in case I accidentally messed one up. Origin, Valley, second lantern. Alright. So now the question is, what angle do I need for this to happen? Now Tuan did give me a convenience tool for science, which is projectile tracking. I'm not sure I've ever used projectile tracking. I might have, but in any case I don't know how it works. So what does projectile tracking do? Okay, so there's numbers on the right side. I assume those are the spider shots. Like there's multiple spider shots here. Okay. So if one breaks, one of the numbers disappear. Should probably just put one on a stick and store it in a safe deposit box. Sure, I do usually have a backup save on a stick though, just in case my drive dies or something. So one of those numbers moves faster than the others, and one spider shot moves faster than the others, so I assume that's distance traveled. And then this kind of looks like an angle. Let me think about what this measures though, because it's kind of weird. So this one travels slightly upwards. That is described as a positive angle. So I assume what this is to the right is 0. Everything in the upper half is the angle between the line to the right and that, and everything below is the angle between the line to the bottom and that, prefixed with a minus. It's a cosinus and sinus circle. It's possible that that's a more mathematical way of describing it. Okay, so yeah, that upper one would be the 174 shot here. So I could take faster or slower shots, I just have to see what works better. Okay, so with this measurement, I would want an angle that is like positive 60 degrees approximately, but let's see how much exactly. Do you have any math minds in chat who can remind me what I'm supposed to calculate here? So I have a rectangle here. Wait, let me like have something to draw, just for visualization purposes. I could obviously do this without drawing, I just like visualizing things. Bum, bum. Okay. So my origin is somewhere here. And I want to get to somewhere here. With this I have a rectangle. Something like this. And what I want to know is this. Triangle. Sorry, words are impossible. I would also call that a triangle. Ba-da-da-dum-bum. I am BookAC. I'm saying your name differently every time. If you ever wanna clear up my confusion, feel free to. Now there are 3 things here. There's a sinus, a cosinus, and a tangent. Let me remember. If anyone just knows it, feel free to point it out, because I'm stupid in terms of math. Let me first get the things I want to know, though. So this right here I have determined. And this right here I have determined. That means I know this here is 150, 214. Um, 214. This here in the meanwhile 399. No, that's not how that works. Sorry. 301. That's still not how that works. No, 399 was right. Did Warp Shot get unbanned? Yes, indeed. Okay. You're not surprised? Yeah, I guess that, like, was possible to foresee. Dum. Bum ba-dum 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 bum ba-dum. You're excited to at least see the planning of this last trick. There will be a lot of planning. Epic has it. Thank you, but I also kind of want to know how to get there. Calculator, please. Last trick, we're on the final node. Yeah, should be. Current node, Tuen's Magnum Opus. Bum, ba, dum, ba. I only have one pickup left. I only have the final escape left, yes. Alright, so the good news is I knew all of this at some point. You wonder where it is? It's this here, the final escape pickup. I don't assume it's gonna give me anything, but that's like the last thing I'll have to find out knowledge-wise. Bum ba dum ba dum dum bum bum ba. All right. Sine, calculate angle. Bum ba dum. Opposite side and right. I do know this length. These measurements take time. Yeah, I think that was something you could do. But I don't remember the exact approach. Because it has been too long. Welcome to pre-calculus, everyone. Yep. Dum bum ba dum ba dum ba. Tangent of alpha equals opposite side divided by adjacent side. So the opposite thing was called an arctangent or something? You got frustrated at a coworker when they complained at you instead of solving for x themselves. I mean, yeah, as I could easily prove, some people just forget these things. I did not, for the record, have any troubles with math. I just forget it when I don't use it. So what I want here is the arctangent. Let me see if my calculator just understands this. Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, ba. Bum, ba-da-dum, ba. What on earth? That the seed has no more cheese in it. Well, that's probably not gonna be more of it, that's true. Did not do the correct thing. I asked my Wolfram Alpha this question, And I am not getting any smarter from the result. Solution. X equals pi n plus arctangents over this. I think it suggests there are multiple solutions. Have we fixed Horu getting burned to the ground? I'm curious what you'll do to Horu, like if you'll change anything further. Ba-dum, ba-dum, ba. Dum, ba, bum, ba. You can add 2 times pi on the solution. I'm surprised how little of this is left in my brain. Like, this all seems vaguely familiar, and I knew that I could do this at some point without any trouble. It's just completely wiped. Get a 2 times pi because that's an entire circumvent of the angle. Okay, that makes sense. So really, I just want one solution. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, da-dum, bum, ba. Pi. Let me see what this gives me. This gives me 61.79 degrees. That seems reasonable. I think I've done the right thing. You haven't done this stuff in so long and you'd need some refreshment terms. Yeah, I'm having the exact same problem right now. Alright, okay. So, refreshed my very basic calculus skills. Target to, no, valley to target. 61.79 degrees. Yep, we are looking at a warp shot science. Now we hope it's the same coordinate system in game. That shouldn't be important. Like, if you multiply all the coordinates with a given value, the angle will be the same result. Unless I'm misunderstanding what you mean. Last note, yep, this is the last trick. Okay, so I want the projectile tracker to show 61.79. Now, what exactly does it measure in terms of distance? I guess, hopefully, it would be this distance in in-game coordinates. Oh no! Good luck recovering, Tuan. So let's just like hope and assume that the distance tracker tracks whatever I will get here. So I think I do in fact remember how to do this. That's a step simpler. Bum, ba. Alright, assuming I can do the basic maths, we are looking at 453. So let's see if that's even what the projectile tracker tracks. What are you looking at? Maths, okay, bye. See you around, Doka. Is there a way to test for me if the distance tracking is indeed in-game units? It's a bit hard because it'll originate from the spider. Let's just see if this like works. Alright. I don't have enough monitors for this. Guess I can just write the synopsis here. Distance 453, hopefully. Is to shoot a shot up there? Yes, I do want to get a shot into this room. Has any of the other Helplandos gotten to 60 hours? Not for me. Might be that Turan's time spent on my It's Dangerous to Go Alone exceeded 60 hours in search of the secret ending, but I don't know that for sure. Okay. So here's my projectile tracker. I started at this lantern, which is a really stupid idea because it seems like Bash prioritizes the lantern over the projectile, or is it just what's closer? I know it just strict prioritizes the lantern. Okay, great. Lovely. Well, for ballpark stuff this should be fine, but that's obviously not great. Okay, well at least I know how to do the things now, so I could just start from somewhere else. We've not yet succeeded. That is true. This is also the only Helplando that significantly shuffles skills around to force more tricks. Yeah, but that's just because it wants specific tricks. I don't feel like it's too jarring. It does work. Alright, so let's say I just conveniently start from here or something. Somewhere where I can easily line up my starting position. Although I guess the spider will still swing, so it's not too important. How do I get the shot out of bounds? This has a different skill set from normal randomizer. I can literally just warp out of bounds, and now the shot is traveling and traveling and traveling. I don't know why it says it would be a minus 171 degree angle. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, whoops. Done skill juggling only once, it's very complicated. I mean, yeah, this Plandomizer also like had multiple sequence break that would allow you to, for instance, have grenade at this stage in the game, which sure would be extremely convenient, wouldn't it? Projectile tracking? There you go. Okay, yeah, now the angle updates, perfect. So, I want to know this position where I'm catching the shot. Minus 415. 87 something. Minus 415. Let me see the other one more precisely. Yeah, with Bash and Grenade you still have the problem that you can't break walls, so you'd still have to warp shot, I guess. Maybe it wouldn't even help that much. Alright, so this will be my tried origin. 87.5. Okay. Origin, Valley, fast catch. So I have faster retries. Now I want to know Valley fast catch to target. And I'll do the same thing as before. So this time, doesn't the projectile break once it hits a wall? Yes, but all the walls are unloaded if I'm not there. So the moment I Alt R, all the walls disappear. You can observe this because you can see I have a projectile tracker here that shows how far the shots traveled and at what angle, and the numbers disappear as soon as the shot vanishes. But if I do this right here, then one of them just travels and travels and travels. However, I'm not sure the projectile tracker works because that angle is definitely wrong. You mean in the escape? Well, I enter a door so I can load all the walls around it if I time it well. What's with the angle here? Like, that's absolutely wrong. I Alt R too fast? No, it's still weird. So here it updated. So here, this is the shot, the 70-degree angle shot. That's the one I'm tracking. I guess there's another shot flying though, so there's actually multiple shots happening here. The thing is, why does the shot I care about just disappear and the other shot stays? Does it only track one projectile long term and like catches the wrong one? Whoops. Let me have all the other projectiles break here. Well, now it just shoots more projectiles. Lovely. Too slow? No, 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 no. That projectile 100% exists right now. I think the projectile tracker just... I don't know. I'm not sure it works reliably. Let me try a different shot. Maybe it does, like, unload slowly? I mean, I guess that's really easy to try. I just pause. And I don't think Spines made this version of the tracker. And then it unloads. Oh yeah, that does seem to be the issue. I guess just like the engine and stuff takes a moment to unload. So I wanna pause a bit after my Alt R. So that's why a projectile tracker is highly useful, because it makes you uncover stuff like that. Now I have all the projectiles, but like I know which one I care about. No, these aren't in-game coordinates, are they? No, that counts way too fast. The shot isn't moving that fast. I don't think that's in-game coordinates. Let's do some ballpark measurements on whatever these units are. So, say I travel from here, which is minus 420. Cool. To here. So I have a bit of a stretch for measurement. Test measure. Minus 420 until minus 464. So around 44 distance. Yeah, it is distance, but in what unit? In what measurement? So right here... Wait, which one was that? It's the one with the higher number, yeah. Right here it says 16 distance traveled, so I just subtract 16 from the distance at the end. Or I guess 14 in that case, because the spider was positioned differently. Right, let's not have this. Subtract 15. 59, 44. No, that is in-game coordinates, yeah. Because that was 44, that does line up. Okay, so it does measure in-game coordinates. Cool. I'm surprised how fast the number moves. I imagined in-game coordinates to be on a bigger scale for some reason. But yeah, it moves really fast. So then I like have extremely little time with the quick shot before it goes to 400. But I'll just have to see how things work out. Okay. Good. Then I can measure the distance pretty reliably. Alright, so let's go back to the new point. I'm not gonna redraw the rectangle because the visual of where the lines are isn't actually important. New layer group, second lantern. Let's just put all of this in there. I think the projectile tracker is pretty good, like, that's just fine. Alright. And now this is gonna be fast catch for my next concept. The origin point has changed. It is now minus... Wait, what? Oh, I wrote them the wrong way around. I mean, it doesn't matter that I wrote them the wrong way around because of how maths work, but wow, go me. Minus 41587.5. I have no idea if what Cosmic changed, yeah. Okay, cool. So this is now what, 400 and then 2.5. This is now wow, that's a significant difference, but that just makes sense. Okay. 165. Then I'm gonna want this for the distance. Yay, trigonometry. I took a bit to like get a refresher on how all this works. But I think I have it again. 402.5, and that is 165. This distance has now flipped some digits around. Okay, that is cool. This is why you learn that in school. Yeah, exactly. I learned this in school specifically so that I could beat the final trick of Ori's Bizarre Adventure by Dr. Tuin. That's what my teachers told me after all. I do have Wolfram open. Hi Random Scorp, welcome. Because this do be a bit of a math problem right here. Alright, so the distance this projectile has to travel is 435. Now, about the angle. Still have this open, so I can just use that again. New sides. I guess now I don't have to think anymore, now I just input the stuff. 6771. Wolfram Alpha can answer a lot of questions nowadays. Just ask it how to beat the final escape in Ori with just Bash. You're right, Wolfram Alpha is pretty smart. Hold on, why haven't I thought of this before? Wolfram Alpha. Ori 1. Final escape with just Bash. Old Republic. 1 share. Closing price. Result 23.66 US dollars. Alright. Now I know what to do. Thanks, Wolfram Alpha. Okay, so let's try to get a shot with a... Oh, sorry, that's my German instincts coming through. With an angle of exactly 67.7. It wants me to pay. Why does it just assume I would be interested in accuracy? Anyway. So, a visual lineup for that would be good. 69 degrees. That is nice. However, I need to angle a bit more flat. Let's just start somewhere. What if I aim at the center of this energy orb? Then I get a 67.1 degree angle. That's not so bad. I want it to be a little more vertical though. So I guess I aim like on 3/4 of this energy orb in my HUD. 66.07. Wait, what? The problem is this is way too precise. 6.8, yeah, that's too vertical. So I should probably just die and respawn after every attempt to ensure consistent lineups as much as possible. 67.9, that's getting pretty close, like, that might be relatively good. I don't think, like, I don't know how precise this needs to be. I could do more math to figure out how precise I need to be, but I think I could also just get a good visual lineup to have consistent setups and then everything will be easier in the long term. 67.7 perfectly. Alright. Could also ask that new AI. Not sure what it was called, but someone asked it to help proving Fermat's last theorem, and it gave kinda reasonable responses. That is interesting. Alt R, pause, so stuff unloads. And now, so this shard should travel 435 Oris. And this first number displays how far it has traveled. So let's see how soon I get into Horu. I assume I'm too slow. And probably like by a large degree. So it's paused in here. I can pause it while teleporting. The fun part is that the n=2 part reveals that the AI has no clue what it was talking about. Yeah, that is that is a problem if something is very good at imitating but not very good at understanding what it's imitating. But good luck. Thank you, Tuan. Alright, so while I'm in the bash animation, it is also paused. So let's just do as many bashes as possible for now, because that gives me the highest average non-paused speed. Yeah, Tuan wrote it earlier. Yeah, the classic holiday bad luck. Okay, so distance-wise, this could work out. So maybe the setup is just fine. Alright, let me check again. I want 435 distance. But entering the door is an animation. It takes some time. So yeah, by the time I actually entered and loaded all this, the shot was further already. But yeah, that was the spider shot. You could see it breaking up here, so like, general idea is correct. One disadvantage with this setup is that the shot comes in at a very vertical angle, so I need to be very particular about my timing. And it'll be difficult to catch. A more horizontal thing, like something flying in like this, would be significantly easier to catch. So I guess that should at least be considered. Oh, that would have to be from like up here though. And that's too short. Trigonometry works, you could have imagined. If you do it right, it works. Yeah, sure does. Wait, there's a spider here though. Why don't I try shooting from here and see if I can make that in time? Because there's a teleporter right here, so I save a whole bunch of time where I walk from Alt R here. I can just teleport straight away. Although, I'm not sure I can unload the shot in time here. Like the terrain in time. Like, unload the stuff around the shot. From Ginso, I mean, yeah, I guess. There is a spider here as well, so yeah, Ginso would also be a consideration. Because I do think there's value in making this shot easier to catch, just so there's no failures where I miss the shot, which would cost significant amounts of time. Let me try from Sorrow first, because that would be the faster setup if it works. Okay. What? Alt R? Can I not Alt R from here? What's wrong? Hello? Isn't this the Alt R button? Excuse? Hold on, spider is clearly best. Have I forgotten my Alt R bind? Okay, the input tracker is showing it, so it's not my keyboard breaking. Julian took it away as he left. I think the rando crashed, because like I can't cycle bonus skills. I can't do Alt R. Yeah, I think the rando crashed. Like the vanilla game is still running, but I assume like the rando main thread or something just kinda crashed. It isn't working anymore. So sure. Ooh, we broke 10,000 deaths. Let's go. Do a restart. There is no random main thread? Well, then I don't know what crashed. Something definitely broke, though. Janky hack made. Alright, there you go. It worked again. Yeah, there is a timing correlation here. Like, that never happened during the Plandemizer until I started using projectile tracking. So maybe there's some edge case with tracking that breaks stuff. I don't know. Alright, Spider, I see you are pumped and hyped up to give me some shots. That's cool. It just sequentially hooks into regular game methods? How can that kind of scenario even happen then, though? Alright, so let's just see if I can, generally speaking, get a shot out of here. I haven't activated projectile tracking, so I'll never actually find out. Hold on. Projectile tracking. Wait, I have activated it. Maybe it wasn't, like, registered after QTN. You have no idea what had happened there? I mean, maybe also just the input registering part failed to work and the rest still work. I don't know. So now I have projectile tracking. There was like a significant moment of lag when it initialized it. It's definitely not polished, the projectile tracking, but yeah, it does its job. Whoops. So let's see here. I don't know what angle I would need yet, but for now it's just like, can you get a shot out of there at all? Well, I think that hit the spider. Yeah, those 3 shots are new ones that the spider just shot. What? No, pause! Oh my god. It was an interesting moment where I kind of stood in the air. I mean, I guess I could use a slow shot. So for the proof of concept, let's first try that. The only thing that could possibly lag should be the text display. So which is my shot here? Wait, none of these is my shot. I think it forgot about this shot because of the 3 other ones. None of these shots like make sense with the angle that I aimed at. But one of them is... Huh? I don't know what happened there. Okay, so now I have just road shots flying around. And it doesn't show me the new ones. I'm guessing there's a technical limitation here with repeated shots from the same spider. So let's just eradicate those projectiles. Whoops. I guess resetting projectile tracking works too. I guess that works. Still, I'd rather have Wither here. Dum, da, dum. Yeah, so that's an angle that makes sense for the projectile I'm handling here. Dum, ba, da, 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 dum, dum. Okay, it still exists. Yeah, okay, so I can get a shot out of Sorrow, generally speaking. Doing the trick entirely without projectile tracking. One thing I'm not yet sure about with the completely unassisted part is like one assistance that is commonly deemed okay in the speedrunning community is a timer. Like Life Split is insanely useful for this. And I'm assuming Tuen doesn't want me to like turn off my Life Split for the trick because it's assistance, but I guess I should ask about that. Bum, bum. Because then you can replace the angle with a visual cue, and you can replace the distance with Life Split, and then it's just the same thing. Projectile tracking is mostly for the science. Alright, so now the question is, if I do dislocate a projectile from Sorrow, what angle do I need? Dum, ba, dum. Not sure I used it to plan the trick. I would assume so, but I don't know, of course. So it seems like it would be a pretty horizontal angle. I'll have to adjust the target a little bit too. Let's say I start from like here. Dum, ba, dum, ba, dum. Well, yeah, like the main thing you need it for is to get a shot into the room, and then whatever you do is another question. Anyway, so I'm pointing at 596.5. Origin, Sorrow, TP, minus 596.5, 498.5. And I want to aim at a slightly different spot now. I probably just have a save file for this. Okay, wait, I want the... Yeah, this. Just to estimate what I'm doing. Okay, so this will pass through this pile of rocks. But if I aim at something like this, like say 2 over here, then there's still, I guess I should aim it slightly in the air so it doesn't hit myself while I pass through. But with something like this, there should still be a relatively lenient time window to catch it. So I would be aiming at like here or something. 227. Four nine oh. That's like the same height. It's gonna be an extremely horizontal shot. But that's what I wanted, because a horizontal shot gives me more of a time window to catch it in this scenario. Okay. Sorrow, TP. Yes, I should describe my targets. Target, bottom left. Target, far right. Sorrow, TP to far right. Here we go again. Sorrow TP. Ba ba ba. Well, now the rectangle is just completely off, but like, I don't care about it. That's not the important part here. My origin is now 596.5. How do I activate the escape? That's a really good question. I haven't figured that out yet. I'm just doing this first step because no matter what I do, it will be necessary. So like, this cannot be wasted time. It just cannot be. However the rest works. This is gonna happen. That's a lot of twos. So the the vertical distance is just 8.5. Visualization not to scale. And this is now 3 and 6 and 8.5 or something? 9.5? That's not a 5. 58596.5. Indeed. Alright, so I'm gonna want to know this here. Blah, blah, blah. This is gonna be really close to the horizontal distance. 369.5. Wait. That is the horizontal distance? I mean, yeah, it's like basically a horizontal line. Alright, sure. I'm still surprised it matters that little. But I'll believe the math. Calculators do know how to calculate. And the angle I want is like basically 0. (1.3 degrees). 1.3 degrees. Distance 369.5. So let's try this one out. This has potential for a faster setup and more consistent catches. So that would definitely be good to have. So from here I want a slightly upwards angle or a slightly downwards angle. The origin is higher than the target. Oh yeah, it is. I guess this should be minus then. Okay. And I kind of want to use the slower shot. Yeah. This offers a lot less in visual cues though, so that's a significant drawback. I guess it offers less in terms of visual cues that I point my mouse cursor at, but I still totally can aim like the bash arrow at something. Okay. So right now I don't see any projectile tracking. Oh, it happened again. Yeah, there's definitely something broken with the projectile tracking. Like, if you have a fix in mind, Cosmic, I can try it out, because otherwise I'll be repeatedly restarting the game, and that's not so great either. I guess I can try a quit to menu or something to see if that changes anything, but I think I tried that before, yeah. Maybe something here does, I don't know. There's so much less options. Whoops. Projectile tracking. Can I try turning projectile tracking off and on again? No, because the buttons don't work. Alt R doesn't work, toggle bonus skill doesn't work, switch bonus skill doesn't work. So no, I cannot try that. Bum, ba-dum. There are also smaller issues where turning projectile tracking off and on again fixes it, but that's not the major issue where I just cannot, like, where the buttons just don't do stuff anymore. Alright, so I am looking for a certain angle. Oh, I can't see anything like this, the animation is in the way. Minus 9.3. None of the buttons work. I can show you if I get the state again. How do I even get a precise starting position for this? I don't know the exact cause yet. Definitely a difficult area to try and find a visual cue in. Yeah, I think input handling is indeed the most likely candidate for that one. Okay, so I think I have a setup that could ensure a pretty consistent starting position. Now, how do I do the angle thing? Minus 1.5, that is very close. The distance on this isn't too great, so some deviations like that may just work. 0.4. Aiming your cursor at something sure would be more precise for a lineup than trying to aim like the bash arrow, because the bash arrow is really fuzzy. It doesn't really have clear visuals, is the problem. La, la, yeah, but there's only blackness here. I guess there are some textures. They're not very visible, but they do exist. These are foreground textures though, so I think they move on a different layer, and they may be offset with the camera movements. Obviously I could try aiming at something in this wall, but then I'm really close to the projectile and that again reduces my accuracy. How much is 8 units? Well, I only jump 3 units, so too much in order to make that kind of error. Yeah, so Sorrow TP is a cool idea, but I'm not sure how I would do a setup for this. Because that angle is gonna be pretty inaccurate, and then I'm probably once again not gonna be able to catch it. Let's just look at the distance, whether the distance part works. Just put the mouse on this exact black pixel. Well, there's like the borderline assist things, like I could put a marker on my monitor and then I would have an extremely precise lineup. Which is like, I mean, I can also use the text that is just kind of written on my monitor, and in that case it feels like that's just kind of how the shape of my monitor is. But I don't know. Usually I try to avoid these like hacks. Anyway, so let's try to go in like 10 distance before the shot is supposed to be where it is, because I don't know how much I have to account for with the animation. That would mean at 360 I enter. It broke? So I'm guessing I entered too early and it was still on the far left. But also I aimed higher. But I do think I would have seen that. Oh, entering that door autosaves. That's like very not convenient. Was it exiting? No, it's entering. The angle was, don't you need a negative angle? Did I shoot that shot upwards? I didn't sanity check that, because I tried to not. But yeah, if it was positive, then obviously that's really far away. And it just was off screen. Alright, so looks like I'm gonna want a backup here. It would be convenient to have like a keyboard only approach to this. Oh yeah, that is positive. So that's aiming upwards. Maybe I should switch to keyboard only for it, I don't know. Like, that just has much greater setup potential, is the thing. Yeah, okay, I'm never gonna get a consistent angle like this. That's not happening, which is unfortunate. I think with the prior setup, where the catch was harder, I could have gotten angles pretty well. So there's also a different line of approach here, where I instead displace a slow projectile through this corridor. Is bash only with mouse? If you like don't use a mouse, if you play on keyboard only, then you only have 8 cardinal directions for your bash, which obviously limits the potential of what you can do, but it also means KeyBEMU bash with mouse? Yeah, I mean keyboard only. On keyboard only, it also means that your angles are always perfect. So if you have a setup that works with the 8 cardinal directions, you're never gonna miss. Which obviously is huge. But it's much harder to find a setup because you need to find something with the 8 cardinal directions. You can like aim other directions with keyboard only, but then you lose the advantage. Because then you don't have it precisely the same way every time anymore. Yeah, but like the advantage that I'm talking about is the 8 cardinal advantage. Yeah. Okay. We have math and the distances. I guess you could just like... Wait, hold on. So I want it to be here. Actually, I think there's a better tool for this. Yeah, this. We could also first bring it into a location that's one of the cardinal directions. I'm not sure like how you can conveniently swap between keyboard mouse and keyboard only in this game. I guess you could also use a controller and the D-pad. I wonder like how exactly this would align. Whether that could be a concept. That's how you set up the Ginso warp shot. So far I've done all warp shots with the mouse, but like I don't think there's a good reason for that. This is my favorite one so far. Let me see where exactly this aligns. Oh, you were talking to Cosmic, sorry. You only know Comic Angel? Angle, sorry, I sometimes misread that. No, Angel. Wait, was it Comic Angle and Cosmic Angel? I don't remember all the alt names. Alright, so I already established that my target in that room on the far right, which would be relatively high, would be at 490 height. So where exactly is 490 height? Oh, it's like here. It's right here. The idea is hardly new. I mean, I'm not claiming it's new. I think Cosmic is a relevant reason why I have this idea. There's not a lot of horizontal space here, so I'm not sure that'll work. I don't think I can get a shot here. I could try it like just slightly lower, so it goes below the ceiling. Yeah, that would also make things like really simple. Then I would need a 0 degree angle, I would just know the distance. Alright, so say... let me go to Horu to see how low I can go. You don't always say things to prove people wrong. Yeah, sorry, maybe I like misinterpreted. Only most of the time. Okay, so the shot should at least be at 489. Yeah, so 489 would also be fine. Which would be like here, and that would go perfectly below the ceiling. So I could start like here at say minus 482. Minus 482. 489. Origin. Cardinal shot from Sorrow TP. Target. Minus 227. 489. To target would be a 0-degree angle. And what? 3, 5, 5 distance. I have to investigate how I do the cardinal shot. Like, I have to do some input setup for that. But first, let me just, like, concept prove this. I guess I'm only making it harder on myself if I first want to concept prove it. Alright, how do I do a cardinal shot? Is there any way to like get into keyboard only mode without unplugging my mouse? I don't think there is. Control options. Controls. Navigate. Control style. Oh, here I can literally change it in the pause menu. That would be kind of inconvenient though. Arrow keys? No, I don't think so. That's what works in Ori 2. But Ori 1 doesn't do the dynamic swapping, I don't think. Yeah, no. I mean, one problem here is that like the key that is aiming bash is on my mouse. I don't know. Let me just try a controller here. Because that feels simple. Bum, ba. It does dynamic swapping, but arrow keys are used in only one keyboard mouse. It does dynamic swapping to the controller, yeah, that is true. Which is why I'm interested in trying the controller. Alright. Hold on. So right now, I'm pressing the bind to toggle bonus skill and nothing happens. I'm pressing the bind to trigger bonus skill and nothing happens. I'm pressing the bind to Alt R and nothing happens. Alt P, Alt L, Alt T. Oh, Alt T does something. Alt T specifically. Alt L, Alt P, etc. All of those don't. Input on arrow keys with a magnitude and as long as the current controls are not keyboard mouse. Alright. So yeah, this is the thing where I have to restart the game, and this definitely has to do with projectile tracking, I think, because it certainly never happened before I started using projectile tracking. And I don't have a fix for this, other than just, well, restart the game. Projectile tracking also just doesn't work anymore in this state. Okay, so... Um... How do I do this? What happens if I bash and then use the D-pad? Nothing. Okay. Ow. Why does my controller vibrate? Can I please turn that off? Is it turned off now? I think so. Okay, cool. I think I need to use whatever is my controller's bash bind. Hold on. Why? Alright, perfect cardinal shot. I might have to use controller to get into position here, which is gonna be really hard. Turn on keyboard mouse vibration too instead. What's my grenade bind? I've never played this game on a controller. This is gonna be terrible. This. Let me try to do a double bash. Oh, that's the other shot. Oh, that's the spider. Oh my god. Alright. I have double bashed. I'm not setting up a controller display for this, by the way. Okay. So... I want to set up a shot with some hopefully consistent setup later on into a certain position, do a perfect cardinal, and here I can switch to keyboard mouse. However, like this, I don't really have a chance of getting to the teleporter really quickly. So I think I would have to Alt-R out. Except Alt-R doesn't work right now. So that's a problem. I mean, maybe I can get to the teleporter in time. Let me like see if I can, generally speaking, get to the teleporter in time. I need my projectile tracking though, so... Chip. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do too much today. One, because it's kinda late, but also because of the thing where the projectile tracking breaks, and that's a major pita. Off on. Swap to wither. Okay. Now do a test. Whoops. So I want to double bash that projectile on the final one as well. Presumably into the spider and then back here. Whoops, that was not a good unpause. Presumably this will break. Yep. Let me try to do that better because that was actually really bad. This seems difficult to set up as well, which is not great. Nice repeated hits. While in bash state. So these projectiles are so slow that I can't really seem to double bash them downwards. I guess I'd have to do something like this. Not like that lines up either. Can I check the randomizer log file next to the exe? I can check it next time it happens. It'll probably happen again soon enough. La la. Would still be there, you assume? Yeah, but like, it's usually more convenient to have recent log files. Okay, so this has a different problem. It's really difficult to get the projectile into the initial position, which is like a soft problem. I'm gonna check it now, alright. Next to the X. These have no timestamps. Oh, these have timestamps. 710 2019. Okay, so this just never log rotates. What time zone is this stamping on? Like, what? This doesn't even align on the minute scale is the thing. Like, this isn't just some hours offset. I have no idea what the timestamps are. Tick. Object reference not set to instance of an object. No areas Ori found. I don't know if there's anything here. Other than this, which is probably a problem. That's an exception that likely crashes the input handling method. Alright. Can I have the spider just kind of fire this into position for me? Maybe. So I think there's a precise setup in there that works for this. And it might be worth investigating for the fast retries. It would certainly be precise. Yeah, that double bash to the left should give some extra lenience. Okay, so I can get a shot out of there. Now let me try to incorporate a perfect angle that I have to input with my controller. I guess I can use like pausing. Oh no, I can't. You can't actually pause while in the bash windup. That's inconvenient. Sure. Okay. So basically I just wanna... Controllers are so awkward. Like, how do I even unpause while being ready to bash? Both of those things would be done by my thumb. I guess I can claw it. Alright, so that would be a perfect 0 angle degree. However, this will be pretty far down, so I'm not sure this will work. Bash on Y is horrible. Yeah, maybe it's also just the binds. Distance 355. Recommend binding it. I don't even know how I bind stuff on controller. How do I bind stuff on controller? I think the Rando DLL has something for that, right? Is there a good way to rebind with the Rando DLL? Oh. Great. In the Rando settings. So like not here? I'm guessing. Controller binds. Ooh. What do I see here? You recommend right bumper? I think that's bumper in controller jargon. Okay, that's currently dash. I guess like right now I don't care at all. I just wanna unpause, bash, grenade, yeah. Like right now I just need bash, so let's just screw my binds here. And we swap with grenade. I also need grenade because of double bashing. So this is now a bash and dash bind. That's highly useful, right? Okay. Cool. Oh yeah, that's gonna feel so much better because now like the right bumper is bash and the left bumper is double bash. Yeah, I can almost play like this. Almost. But not more than I need to, please. Okay. Okay, so now it broke again. It seems like quit to menus have something to do with it breaking. That is my perception. So yeah, again, like if you have any idea and wanna test something, Cosmic, just send the thing. Bum bum ba dum bum. I'm dead. Can I do the initial lineup with a controller? Like, am I capable of doing that? I feel like that would be great for convenience here. I die to those spikes sometimes. That's kind of inconvenient. Obviously, I don't have Wither Bound on my controller, which is a mild inconvenience. Yeah, something like that should be fine. I don't have projectile tracking, so this is gonna be entirely useless. Yeah, if I restart the game, projectile tracking doesn't work anymore. So I also have to turn it off and on. So that's another bug that would be nice to fix. Oh, I delayed there. Okay, so it can travel about 26. Obviously, there's gonna be some differences. Right, is projectile... Is like the stuff broken again now? No. Okay. I don't know reproduction yet, unfortunately. Dun, bum, ba. Dum, ba, dum. Alright, so if I do it well, I still see the projectile here. This is important, so I can sanity check if I don't have the projectile tracker anymore. There is not a Baneling here. That's weird. So I don't want to do these bashes slowly. Definitely not, because I would lengthen retries by a large amount. But I seem to be struggling a bit right now. La 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 la. Sure do. Good. That visual is good. So for now, just for science, I don't really want to do the Baneling death thing. Yeah, okay. So now I need to find the correct time to enter. That was 350 and was about here. So I'm guessing there's about 10 delay. 350 that was here. At like 219. So this would be 10 over, 20 over. Let's try like 30 over, so I enter at 325 or something. That's probably too early, but let's do some attempts. Enter at 325. door autosave, so I have to go back here. Yeah, I really don't know what breaks it exactly. Nope, off screen. Didn't catch the shot. Almost caught that one too soon. That was still pretty close to the wall. So that's pretty far out. It's supposed to be more like here. So let me see if this visual still works or not. I assume not. Yeah, that does not work. Okay. If I do the controller movement up to the teleporter, then I can just swap while I would be paused anyway. That would be a huge convenience here. So that's also pretty far, right? Let me see if this works. No, but that's really close. So I'm getting a good feel for the visual I need there. And like, retrying here wouldn't be an issue at all. Whoops. Whoops. Interesting. Good thing this game always makes sense. So I gotta get used to what buttons to press on this. Whoops. Whoops. What's the teleport button? No. 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 That. Wait. Bash? Bash is the teleport button? Yeah, bash is the teleport button. Right, that is how it works. Bash is the teleport button. And then I select this and pause. Okay. Got it. Ow. La la. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Part of that is I can probably just more easily do it like fluidly if I don't have to switch input methods in between. Alright, I should practice this. Let's try to do less double bashes where possible, just to reduce the failure cases. Enter at 325 is what I have noted down here. Perfect! What a face redirect. This is truly the face redirect of face redirects. I've done many face redirects in this Plandomizer, but that one... Whew. Welcome to the Headshot Club. Alright, so I want to do that, but I have to take into account where the shot is when I leave it once I don't have projectile tracking. There's a bit of an offset here. I do think I want to enter a little earlier though. But this might not be the exact same every time and I might have to adjust. Alright, so while I load in I can switch to controller. Do this on controller. I can't wait to tell Metoxy that I've learned to play the game on controller for this Plandomizer. Because he might have to learn to play it on keyboard for it. Anyway, that's pretty good. Alright, so I definitely need double bashes all the way up here. Then I don't really know, like, here I can maybe just throw him. Like, I'm not on a time constraints at all. These projectiles could be an issue. Let me path this out for faster retries. That could be valuable. Double bashes up. Then just kind of throw it wherever, I don't really care. Either I roll in there gently. That's one variant. I kind of like that idea. Let me see if I can roll in there gently. Ooh, careful. Something like that. That would be far less double bashes and also far less time spent. Okay. And that's why I want less double bashes. If I have really few double bashes, I also mind less to spend a bunch of time on them. To make sure I have all the angles right. Just if I constantly do just double bashes, double bashes, double bashes, it gets really annoying. Yeah, I shouldn't do that. I'm not sure about the roll gently idea. I think I should catch it there instead. I like the way this works out quite a bit. No, that's good. Okay. So that's what I do to get to the door. Alright, so that aspect is pathed out. That'll be useful regardless of what exact warp shot I do. Oh, hold on. Drip. Wrong thing. No, that's not good enough. Too far right. But that's not a problem, because that's a fast reset. That's not what's gonna cost me a bunch of time here. Especially not after some practice with it. Cool. There you go. Oh, did it break again? Yeah, it broke again. Okay. quick restart of the game. I guess I really want to get rid of the projectile tracker soon and learn to do it without. That would also work. To mitigate this issue. Yeah, I could start some work on that. So basically the angle is already solved. I solved the angle problem. I don't need the tracker for that at all. Now I just need to save the time problem. So let's see how long I take from A to B. Or the shot, I guess, not me. It's not me that matters so much. Alright. So I'm gonna unpause here. At some moment in time, I should normalize. Well, there's a lot to normalize here because of the double bashes. Yeah. Okay, that's a problem. I should probably do full-length bashes. Yeah, I probably have to do full-length bashes. So the first thing I have to normalize is my pause after teleporting into Horu to unload the terrain. Also projectile tracker isn't working. Ah, this is so annoying. Well, I do need it to like figure things out. I do need it initially, okay? There you go. Wrong one. Da-dum, ba-dum. It's surprising with a little practice how lenient this gets. I wonder if at this point I even need a pause in Horu. Alright, so let's count the bashes I do and let's do everything max length. One, two, three, 4, 5. Everything min length would also work. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hopefully I can count. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 max length bashes. Cool. 5, 5. 16 bashes. No pause. 55 seconds. Hey, that's not too bad. Like, that's not worse than long lures in terms of retry time. We're not getting the exception at all. Can I DM my randomizer log? Sure thing. That is quite possible. There you go. Let me see how long one max length bash is. I think it's like 1 second. Oh, this isn't gonna work. "13, 14, 15... No, it's not that. It's something odd that doesn't really align with seconds, unfortunately. It's annoying. It's almost 2 seconds. Come on, Moon. Do cool numbers on your timers. Max length bash is almost 2 seconds, but doing min length bashes would be really difficult here and would probably kill me sometimes. Min length bashes are easy. 3 per second. There isn't anything logged since July 19? Wait, there's not? I guess I haven't checked the date. Again, I don't know what the timestamp is. The timestamp is extremely weird, but maybe that's also just because there hasn't been anything written to it. 7/19, yeah, that was a while ago. Don't really know what I did on that date. Maybe the Plando DLL doesn't log, I don't know. Like, wow, that would be a bit reckless. I mean, it would be faster retries, but... Oof. And it's also easy to screw up. The bash length itself. Wait, I don't need to press the second bash on double bashes if I do it like this, though, right? Yeah, oh, I never considered that. If I do instant release bashes, then I don't have to hold down the second bash during a double bash. Interesting. That's actually a pretty good convenience boost. I did a longer one there. I'm kind of interested in the idea of doing min-length bashes, but it might not be feasible because I would die sometimes, which is obviously not desirable. But the thing is, a max-length bash taking almost 2 seconds, that's almost 6 times as long as a min-length bash. And like, if I do... What did I do here? I did 16 bashes. That's, say, 1.5 seconds difference each time. That's still 24 seconds difference per attempt, which is, like, enormous. So min-length bashes might be worth it here. I don't have to do that many difficult ones. These ones here are the hardest to do min-length. Ow. That explodes? That's weird. Oh, but that ceiling does not explode. Also useful. Well, I definitely have to be confident in what I do if I want to do min-length bashes. Like, there's no room for thinking or improvisation in there. La, 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 Okay, so let's do one attempt where I do min-length bashes and use that to determine the amount of unpaused time that has to pass. Then from there I can do head math on how many bashes I did. Whoops. Neat. Ta-dum. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, oof, 12, 13, 14, 13. I only did 13. Okay, the problem is I didn't check when the timer started, so I have no idea what the result of this test is. Go me. Let's look at the timer next time. At least I practiced counting bashes really fast while doing them. Whoops, wrong button. Honestly, a controller is insanely useful for this, like, because you have cardinal aim and precise aim on the same input method. You have the D-pad and you have the stick. That's so incredibly good for warp shots. Like, that's honestly way better than mouse aim. Alright. So let's start at 2730. And then count bashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Dead. That happens. That's just a thing that will happen. Except for the part where you can't do precise angles consistently except for cardinals. Well, like, I had the choice to try precise mouse angles. I just rather find cardinal angles. Because that just seems better. There's probably a second or so difference in here on where the shot starts. So I'm a minute offset now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's fine. So that was recoverable. That's entirely fine if that happens. You just have to recover it. There's a realistic chance that I'll give up on trying fast bashes, but I think there's a high value potential, so it's just worth trying. Sure, the speedrun would be great with cardinal angled Stompless. I'm talking about long-range warp shots. Stompless is relatively short range, so you don't need great precision. Like, the thing is, mouse aim is not great precision. It only works for Stompless because you don't need such a high level of precision. And the reason it's not a high precision is because the camera moves, mainly. Dum, dum. Um, okay, anyway. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 18. Perfect. Okay. Stopped at 30, 22. That means 32 seconds passed. 18 bashes. So like that's the thing. This setup is double as fast as the other one. So I feel like that's just worth it. Okay, so I will try fast bashes. 18 bashes, no pause, 30 seconds. Now those 18 bashes will have stalled for 18 divided by 3, which is 6 seconds. Which means that the shot takes 24 seconds. Duration 24 seconds. Okay. So let's try it without projectile tracking then. I think a good goal for today would be to get one shot into there without projectile tracking. I guess, I don't know how hard that's gonna be. Maybe that's also unrealistic. I'll have to see. Alright, let's turn this off. Oh, it did not save me turning it off, because that's how this works. Sure. Off and save. Okay. Pretty average positioning. So this takes 24 seconds. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, dead. Okay. Well, there's not a lot of time for head math there. Oof. But yeah. Okay. Oh, right. It's still on that save file though. There you go. Whoops. Pretty far right. So like without a projectile tracker, I can't get certain confirmation whether a shot got destroyed. So I think I should be defensive and just not take that. Wrong one. Again. Really good. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That explodes? Okay, learned something new. If that explodes, then my setup isn't very good. Because it kind of relies on that one. Kind of relies on the Baneling rolling down there, is what I'm trying to say. I guess I could do this instead. Banelings sure like to explode. Yep. It's not in fact the bash button. A big suggestion to rebind the bash button was really good. Like, that's a good bind for bash. So much better than the vanilla one. I appreciate that. Alright. So if I start at something 6 on the second timer, then the 24 is gonna be easy to calculate. So say I start at 56, then it would be 20. Plus the bashes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, sure, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 7 seconds plus. Okay, so that was extremely wrong. I wonder why. Maybe I made an error in my calculations. Hmm. The shot did start a bit further to the left, but minimally so. That seemed multiple seconds off. Let me see if I get this result consistently. If I get it consistently, then my maths are off. If not, then there is a factor of inconsistency that I haven't yet considered. Alright, is it reproducible? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I held some of those a bit long though. 15, 16, 17. 6 seconds plus. Yes, okay, consistent result. Cool. So just my math is off, but now I can just adjust this. So that kind of looks like I should try 26 seconds instead. So let's try 26 seconds instead. So now I assume 26 seconds travel time. Oops. Never do math on stream, obviously. Am I aware I can use the in-game timer? Oh, that's a good idea. Because the in-game... But is the in-game timer isn't paused during bashes, though. Right? So it's not... No, it's not more useful. It's just the same as the life split timer, except I can't control when it starts. I guess I can pause and then use the in-game timer so I have more time to do head math. So what would be the difference if I use the in-game timer? Then I would say, okay, 26 seconds travel time. So this should arrive at 5:1:10, 48. And then I just add the bash time. Then I can just pause there and add the bash time. I guess that's like convenient. Yeah. Then I could also, if I measure the max bash time, like the longest possible bash time exactly, I could also use that anyway. Let's stick with min bashes for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so I started at this time. Excuse me? Why exactly is the in-game time lower than when I started? Am I not able to write down times? Like, what? Excuse me? Hold on. I don't know what I did there. Clearly I did something terribly wrong. Whoops. Let's try this again. 5, 1, 10, 34. It's when I start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, that makes more sense. 16 bashes, and I end at 5:08. So like, according to the in-game timer, 24 seconds have passed. However, 16 bashes take 5.3 seconds. So really, this is the amount of seconds that have passed for the projector. Or I guess in other words, if I want a duration of 26 seconds, I have to wait 6 point something more seconds. Now I don't have the precise things yet, so let's just say 7 seconds until 6:05. 6:05 is 05, of course, because that's how time works. Okay, yeah, that wasn't bad. So like 24 seconds assumption was here, 26 here. That's pretty consistent results. Let's use an assumption of 25-second duration. The problem is, because I don't have milliseconds, there's gonna be at least 1 second of error margin that I can't even control. Which does sound like a problem. But that's just what it is. Timer doesn't show milliseconds. Seconds is the most precise I get. I could like do repeated pauses to get a feeling for it, if it turns out being very relevant. Okay, so this is 23. Let's just write it down. The starting times are so different, anyway. "23", then I don't have to remember it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's starting to look the exact same every time. 14, 15, 16, 17. Ow. I think that's gonna be my setup though. I feel like the in-game timer is not necessarily more convenient, but I'm gonna use it because it's like clearly not a tool assist in any way, because it's inside the game. 21. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. I felt that being too close. That's fair. But again, the short bashes cut the setup time like in half. So if I die sometimes, it's still worth it to use them. 21. Also, if I get this consistent and just always start at 21, and the math is gonna get really easy. Oh, interesting. I saw the time moving while I unpaused there. That could give good clues. So that was the normal 14. The setup I tried to get. There was 17, but I held one kinda long. Alright, so I spent 17 bashes. It's the norm. I spent 23 seconds already. And I'd say these bashes took like 6 seconds because I held one kinda long. So I wanna spend the duration plus this, 31, then there would be 8 missing. Then this would show 5 too. Yeah, you can see the timer moving while you unpause, which is pretty cool. So I don't see anything yet, but I caught the shot. Alright. So that's a non-assisted warp shot using only the in-game timer. And I think the setup is good. I'm gonna work with that. Now let's see, this is the last pickup of this entire Plandomizer that I have not collected yet. Can I save here? No. Let's see what it is. Truly blind warp shot? Yep. And then I think I keep this save file somewhere separate in case I need a started escape. How does it work if you quit to menu out of the escape? Are you in the escape or not? This is Warp Shot Requiem. Sure. Let me test that. Am I in the escape now or not? No, okay, good to know. Alright, so that's a day of science. Now I have a warp shot set up. Let me make notes so that I'm sure I keep it. This setup works. Cardinal shot from Sorrow TP. Target 0 degrees distance and duration 25 seconds. Usually on the path from Horu TP to door. 20. Okay. Usual teleport time from Sorrow 21. Knows what happens the next time, yeah. But like, this is what I'll start with. In which case... no, whatever. Usual travel time 30 seconds, 17 bashes, blah blah blah. I don't know. I'll work out the details later. That's my notes anyway. Alright. So that's one part of it. The next part is gonna be how do you activate the escape and how do you break the walls inside the escape. And one important thing there is, can you Alt-R out of the escape, return and have it work? That's the important part about that. So let's see. Let's find that out tomorrow. Bum, ba, dum, bum, bum, ba, dum. What happened to all the Bizarre Adventure streams? Am I just online at the wrong times? Bum, ba, dum, bum, bum, ba. Alright, anyway. That is today. To everyone who was here, thank you very much. Some people on vacation, yeah, I think that's true as well. And some gave up. Yep, both true. I shall wish you a wonderful day or night and return tomorrow to continue step by step on the path to the legendary Bash-only escape. Until then, see you around.